Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm inside today watching it pour down rain. We had a vicious storm go through that I thought was going to take my house down. It was hit like a ton of bricks. So I'm inside, I'm safe and warm, and it's pouring down rain. So I figured let's make a video. And I had some ideas of what I wanted to do anyway. So, why did we stay in the relationship as long as we did? I'm going to talk about two primary reasons why we did this. And I'm just gonna go ahead and say the trauma bond, let's set that on the shelf for a minute. I think we all understand, and I've done separate videos on this, and I will do other videos on the trauma bond because it is absolutely supernatural and freakish the way that that thing feels. Trying to break that trauma bond, look, I mean, I've been through numerous things in my life that were unpleasant. I'm sure you guys have too. The trauma bond is unlike anything I have ever experienced by a landslide. So let's just say, yeah, the trauma bond kept us in. But let's talk about two other reasons that are really powerful. First one is this: we thought they would change. We did. We had hope that they would change. See, because they presented to us this wonderful person, we get it in the love bomb stage, and they completely faked us to oblivion. They faked us out like a con artist, because that's what they really are. And we thought, though, that we would be able to get them back to that place. But not only, I think, back to the love bomb, we knew this was a troubled person in a variety of ways. They let us in on enough to understand that they probably at least told us they had a troubled childhood. They've had bad relationships. Maybe they've been abused in the past. Things haven't gone right. They told us a sob story, and some of it may have been true, and some of it surely wasn't. But we knew this was a troubled person. But we thought to ourselves, we can help them change. If we stick around long enough, this will change. And we thought this on a regular basis because the breadcrumbing that they do is part of what keeps you in here in the game. But the breadcrumbing is that when they come back and they give you that little exposure of who you thought they were in the beginning, a little bit of adoration, a little bit of love, a little bit of a good 2 or 3 days. They buy you some gifts, something, and you see that person again that you thought you had at the beginning. But what you're thinking is, if I stick with this long enough, if I give enough, if I try hard enough, if I go all in on this relationship over and over and over, and I put up with abuse and I let them run over me, and if I do this long enough, I'll break them. I will love them. I'll love them into submission. Somehow, some way, when they see just how dedicated I am, when they see that I am just willing to love them through it all, I'm willing to be there for them through their tantrums, their fits, their silent treatment where they leave for 2 or 3 days, or they ghost you, or they don't talk to you, through all the times where they're ignoring your text messages or calls, through the gaslighting where they're hiding things from you, through the triangulation where they're bringing up exes or people that they bumped into at the grocery store, whatever it is. If we just push through these things and love and give and give and give and give and give and give, eventually that person will see how invested I am, and they will just have to get it right. Tomorrow is a new day. Next week is a new week. And think about the ways that we do this. I mean, we do very silly and stupid things because of the narcissistic fog that we're in. This spell they put us under where we don't think clearly, we don't make the normal decisions that we would make because they have our heads just all over the place. We actually think in our minds, you know what? The way they treat me is often very poor, but sometimes it's wonderful. If I stick with it, they'll get it right. You know what? You know what we need? Let's take this relationship to the next level. Let's get engaged. If we get engaged, that person will get it right. They'll see how dedicated because now we'll be engaged. Like we're going to get married. They're going to figure it out, right? They're going to be more invested. If I invest more and I take it to the next level, they will. Well, that's stupid. And I did that. And I'm sure many of you did that. Many of you got married to the narcissist, probably thinking the same thing. If we get married, their behavior will level out. What if what if we have a child together? If we have a child, that'll solidify that bond, and that person will be all in the way that I am all in because we'll be sharing a child together. But that's a pipe dream. That's never going to happen. But that's what we think. We think that if we just continue to trudge through, that they will change. If we continue to show them enough love and validation and admiration and affection and attention, and we put up with enough stuff, at some point in time, things will improve and they'll become stable and more consistent in the relationship. Yes, we think that. We actually think that. Do you know how many people, on a side note, get engaged or get married or have children together, actually in part thinking that that's going to solidify and stabilize the relationship? That is the worst decision you can make. Many of us, like I said, made that decision because especially when you're in the fog and you're at the time warped mind because you're under that spiritual delusion, which is the narcissistic fog. It's the spell they put on you. You actually think a bad relationship can be fixed by advancing the relationship. A lot of people get married for terrible reasons. A lot of people get married because they think that the person will have to get it right or they'll treat them better if we're married or engaged or have kids or move in together or relocate together, whatever it is. So yeah, short of it is, to summarize, we one of the reasons we stayed in the relationship is because we honestly thought it would change. We saw glimmers of hope. We saw times that it improved. We saw maybe their behaviors in some ways kind of improve. In other ways, they dropped off the grid and were terrible. They dropped, down to absurdly low levels of behavior. But we thought, given enough time, if I just pour everything into this person, they'll change. Well, we now know they won't. And I can 100% guarantee you guys of this. There is not a single solitary thing on the face of the earth that you could have done better. Well, if I'd just given more, then they'd have just taken more. If I'd have been more attentive, if I'd have loved them harder, longer, stronger, if I hadn't made X, Y, and Z mistake in the relationship, I'm going to 100% guarantee you it wouldn't have mattered. So if anyone out there watching this is still wondering, if I could have done something different, what could I have done? The answer is not a thing. Not a thing. That relationship was doomed from day one, as is their current relationship, as is their next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. They're doomed. The narcissist is doomed for failure, and anyone who's with them is doomed. Point number two, why we stayed with the narcissist. Think about this. We were scared that if we left them, they would go get it right with somebody else. We were. Be honest. I know I was. I think a lot of us are, if you're actually being honest with yourself. Because this is the analogy that I've heard before, and I've used, and I think it's a perfect analogy. The narcissist is like sitting down at that slot machine in Vegas or wherever it is, if you're into that. I don't play it, but just stick with the analogy. And you're sitting there and you're thinking, if I just keep cranking that handle, putting some coins in, at some point I'm going to have a payoff. If I just keep spending my time, attention, focus, finances into this machine, boom, 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 I'm going to hit it at some point. I'm going to hit it. I'm going to hit it. And what happens is, because it's a narcissist, not even a rigged Vegas machine, a narcissist, there is a 0.0000 bar over the repetend percent chance that that relationship is going to succeed now or ever. So even though you're starting to realize I'm losing my money, I'm losing my time, this is not happening. I'm pumping more and more and more and more into this machine. But in the back of your mind, what is the fear? What if I get up out of this chair and I stop pulling the machine and I stop putting money into it? And what if Joe Schmo comes and sits down in my seat and he starts to play, or she starts to play the game? And I have to hear chink, 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 and see that machine start to spit all the money out that I put into it. And it yields its jackpot. And by George, that machine worked for the next person. That is a powerful thing because you have invested and I invested so much time and effort and energy, and we poured ourselves into that relationship, the likes of which we've never done. I mean, to an extent that you just can't even believe how much we gave to that person. We were all in, 100% across the board. And we spent so much time and we wanted it to work so badly, didn't we? And how many times did we think to ourselves, guys, if only the narcissist wasn't a narcissist? Even after the relationship, I mean, after you figured them out. I'm not even talking about when you're in the middle of it and you don't know what they are. Because you think during when you're in the middle of it, if only this person gave a fraction of what I gave, if only they met me even somewhat close to where I meet them. If only it was like if it wasn't like this and it was even just a little bit like this, that relationship could have soared. But then after, even when you realize they're a narcissist, you think to yourself, if only the narcissist wasn't a narcissist, how great it could have been. So we stayed in that relationship for a very long time because we were terrified that they got it right. And let's be honest, how many of you guys, I hope not, but how many of you watching this are still thinking about the narcissist, ruminating about them, and wondering, what if they're getting it right with somebody else right now? What if they straightened out the kinks and they got it right and that relationship is taken off? And boy, it's convincing when you see them on social media or you see them in person or you hear that they're engaged or they're married again or they're pregnant or they've moved in or they're with this person. We are so tempted to think that relationship is actually working. The person that I saw day in, day out, the abusive, lying, cheating, manipulating person, day in, day out, that existed, that tossed me little breadcrumbs of hope, that I got a little bit of good stuff from here and there. Otherwise, it was abuse. They went on with someone else, and all of a sudden, they fundamentally changed everything about who they are, and now it's working. Dad, gone it. That person is getting what I should have been getting. I put in the time, I put in the effort, and now they're going to go and just get it right with somebody else? How many of you guys think that, if we're being honest? At least have thought that. I know I did at one point in time. I now know way better, and I hope that you guys either do know better or that you will know better. The narcissist is never going to have a satisfying, healthy, functional, thriving relationship with anybody. It's not going to happen. Remember what happened in your relationship. How long did the love bomb last? I'd be interested in you guys commenting and telling me how long did that mask last? Because for me, it was right about that very good average of 3 months. Point is, we got 3 pretty good months, 6 months maybe, whatever yours was. These narcissists have their own cycles. Some of them can last a little longer than others. Some of them are short. Some of them are boom, 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 boom. Some of them are the marrying type where it's 5 years or 10 years. And they're still cheating and doing all that stuff the whole time. Don't get me wrong. But that's more of their cycle. A little bigger loop. It just depends. But whatever your narcissist did to you, however long the love bomb lasted, that's how long it lasted for the next person, probably. It may be shorter, but however long, that's how long it lasted. However much abuse you got, that person's getting, maybe more. Did the narcissist hide your keys, your wallet, or certain articles from you, certain items, and make you find them? Well, they're doing it with that person. Did the narcissist triangulate you and bring up people's names, exes, and things like that? Well, they're doing that with the next person. And now they're using your name. And now you're part of that. That's another reason, guys, why I'm thinking of this, why you have to go contact with the narcissist. This is part of why I did it. Because once I realized the game they play, that she plays, which was to triangulate the new supply with the old supply, in this case, I became the old supply. And I'm like, I'm not going to be that ex that she reaches back to while she's dating this new person. I'm not going to be that for her. Well, you guys shouldn't be that for them either. Because believe me, if you're still in contact with the narcissist in any way, they're triangulating you or the new supply with you. You're part of it. In other words, you are part of the corruption if you're still in contact with them. It's not just a matter that you don't want to be in contact with an evil person who's out to manipulate and destroy you. It's also that you don't want to be part of that corrupt cycle with the next person. If you're still involved with them, you got to get out. You have to, unless you share kids, things like that. I get it. All of this is to say, everything that they did to you, they are doing to the next person. And they are a little bit better at it. And they're going to do it to everybody down the road. If you think, guys, I just have to stress this because I know some of you think this, because I used to as well. You actually think they went and changed for somebody. They did not do it. I can 100% right hand to God promise you that whoever the narcissist you were with, whoever they were, they did not go and will not go get it right with another person. It's not going to happen. This is a separate video I'm going to do soon, but their characteristics are baked into them. It's baked into who they are. They're not changing. Once in a blue moon, it might possibly happen, but I can't really imagine. It's almost part and parcel being a narcissist. To be a true full-blown narcissist means by definition you aren't going to change. You leave that point something of a percent chance, but that's all because it's hypothetically possible. Otherwise, basically not. So, the two reasons, guys, why I think that we mainly stay with them, again, setting the trauma bond on the side. We believed that we could change them, that if we gave enough, we were just in it enough, they would ultimately adjust their behavior. We really thought that, and we gave to that end. Tomorrow's a new day. Next week's a new week. Well, now we're engaged. Well, now we're having a child, or we're married, or they gotta change, right? They gotta change now. Don't they see how much I'm pouring into this? They're going to appreciate it one day and they're going to meet me halfway or close to it. No, they won't. We figured that out, right? And if you still think there's a thing you could have done to make that relationship last or thrive, no, absolutely not a chance. And that goes into point two. We were scared to leave them because we were really afraid that even though they couldn't treat us well, they would go treat somebody else well. We actually thought that. Some of you still think that, I'm sure of it. That they are getting it right, or they will get it right, or something's changed, they fixed their issues. Nope. I can't stress enough, guys, and I'm going to close this video here, but I can't stress enough. If you are still in that camp where you believe that, and I get it, you're hurting, you're ruminating, even if it's a long time afterwards, I understand. But you cannot for 1 second believe that that person who did all those things to you, all those horrible, egregious things that you could list for days and days, now is with somebody else and treating them well. Not possible. Not possible. So anyway, guys, I hope that this resonates with you. Drop comments below if you think that I'm right or wrong, whatever the case, or if you have other reasons. But there are a lot of reasons we stayed with the narcissist, but I'm going to say that those two are super powerful ones. We thought they'd change, and then we thought they would change with somebody else again. So anyway, I will come at you with another video later on this week. Appreciate everybody for subscribing and commenting, and you guys are awesome. And so anyway, until then, God bless.